I don't know if you guys remember Laura Loomer, but she is in, I don't know if you want to call it a feud because it doesn't yet seem two ways, but she's going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was once her idol. So let me set the background here for you, and then we'll dive into some pretty brutal messages she put out about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Laura Loomer is an election denier, a hardcore MAGA person, and she ran for Congress. And if that name is ringing a bell, it's because she was the congressional candidate who lost in the Republican primary, and in her not concession speech, in the speech she was saying she's not going to concede in, she was crying. Y'all remember that? Because she was claiming it was all stolen and big tech and blah, blah, blah. So as a reminder, this is who we're talking about, hardcore MAGA person. And she once endorsed Marjorie Taylor Greene, but has changed her opinion, as we'll get into it in a second. But again, here's that now notorious speech.
We are losing our country because of big tech election interference. And I am pleading with the Republican Party to please start taking this issue seriously. Please. Because the American people deserve representation. And that's why I ran for Congress in 2020. It's why I ran for Congress in 2022. And it's why I'm going to keep fighting for all of you.
So she refused to concede, as we talked about when it happened. And she was one of the examples of people who follow this line of, or the belief of, sorry guys, I'm a little under the weather. I'm trying to hold in my sneezes and my congestion. But she is following the Trump playbook of, if the election doesn't go my way, it was stolen. And what was so funny is that was the line with Democrats, and we're hearing that now with Kari Lake in Arizona, but she was saying even in the Republican primary that the person she was going up against, who was more moderate, also is a part of this deep state conspiracy to steal the election. Okay, well, what was the turning point for Laura Loomer, who previously endorsed Marjorie Taylor Greene and was kind of a Marjorie 2.0? Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, as we also reported on, has thrown her support behind Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. And so he wants to be Speaker of the House. But some of the most radical parts of the Republican Party don't like him because he hasn't been unhinged enough for them or whatever it is. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of surprised a lot of people because she broke with that wing of the party that she's usually in line with that is super radical and said, you know what, no, I'm going to support Kevin McCarthy. The speculation is he's made her promises behind the scene about getting back on committees and all these things. Well, since then, Laura Loomer has been declaring war on Marjorie Greene, and it's been very fun to watch. So she posted, this is brutal. Oh my gosh. Laura Loomer posted, I don't even know, what is this, Getter or something? One of these right-wing social media sites. A photo of her and Marjorie Greene, but photoshopped a pig face, which is, again, I've said before, there's no reason in political conversation, really any conversation, but I'm saying when we talk about politics, just criticize people's policies, their rhetoric. No need to get so childish and vile there. But yeah, she photoshopped a pig face on Marjorie Greene and said, I formally withdraw my endorsement of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she's one of these people who also capitalizes things bizarrely for Congress from 2020. I now realize I never should have ever supported Marjorie Taylor Greene or used my network to help her behind the scenes, especially helping her clean up her messes within the right-wing Jewish community. Of course, that being when Marjorie Greene talked about Jewish space lasers. I thought she was the real deal, but she has been nothing but a disappointment. Now she's just a hog-hunting cuck for Kevin McCarthy. Yikes. So that was the declaration of war. And then she's obsessed, guys. She's going off on this social media site that, again, I'm not really clear on what it even is. But then she says, in another very extensive message here, confused. Marjorie Taylor Greene claims to be in support of Donald Trump for 2024, yet she hired Milo as a staffer and issued him an official badge for her office. Now Milo is saying he's working as the campaign manager for Ye after saying last week how he wants Trump in 2024. It should be obvious to everyone that Milo is just an opportunist who will manipulate anyone to make money. So Marjorie Taylor Greene has a staffer, Milo, who does her communications for her, who is openly working against Trump in 2024. How does she explain that? It's almost like she just goes to Trump rallies to create the facade that she's loyal to Trump when she's playing multiple sides and working with and supporting people who want to work against Trump. I hope Trump sees what she's up to for Ye's own protection. I hope someone tells him to run far away from Milo. I like Ye. Of course you do. Of course you do, Laura. I love how outspoken he is. Specifically outspoken about what, Laura? About going death, what did he call it? DEFCON? No, DEathCon. He said DEathCon 3 on all Jewish people. Is that it? And then she continues, I would hate to see him exploited by Milo, who leaves a mess and a wreck behind everywhere he goes. Okay. Yeesh. Are you guys sticking with me? This is a whole lot. I mean, I don't know. Very Trumpian in how nonstop and obsessive this is about Marjorie Greene. Then she says, more evidence of how full of Marjorie Taylor Greene is, with her reason behind supporting McCarthy for Speaker. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a woman willing to screw over the entire America First base and our country for the sake of her own self-betterment and deals made with McCarthy. The gig is up. Everyone needs to see this sham for what it is. Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul. And then she continues with now sweat dripping down her face in rage and heat coming out of her ears. You know, it's not very conservative or becoming of a self-described Christian family woman to pretend like you're grabbing and stroking the penis of the of the president of the United States, a happily married man. Y'all remember that video? Marjorie Greene's like, oh, I love Trump. As she's talking to the crowd, her hand like goes down on this little cardboard cutout of Trump to his crotch area. It's no surprise why Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband has filed for divorce. Sheesh. And I know you're thinking, Luke, we get the point. Gosh, we don't need any more. Well, I'm going to give you more. She goes on to say, crazy how Marjorie Taylor Greene went from calling herself America First to doing the bidding of Paul Ryan. Anyone on the same page as Paul Ryan is no friend of mine. And then she links to some articles saying that Paul Ryan is also in favor of Kevin McCarthy, as is Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, wow. The last thing I'll add on to this is someone calling out the fact that people are real great who are hardcore MAGA people at hating Kevin McCarthy for not being hardcore MAGA enough, even though he's also radical himself, and saying, why aren't y'all as mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene, your savior, you know, because she also supports him. This is David Brody. So wait, a question to all the Kevin McCarthy haters. Why not take out your anger on Marjorie Taylor Greene too? She supports him for Speaker. What gives? Guilt by association? So I am curious to see, will Marjorie Greene, I doubt it because she's such a celebrity among this really radical part of the right-wing movement, but will she get turned on? Will people say that she's now a rhino? That would be really fascinating to see, because again, she has been kind of the quintessential radical MAGA election denier, hardcore Trumpy congresswoman for now a couple years. And if she got cast out for not being radical enough, holy smokes. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think she is so beloved, kind of like how Trump can do whatever he wants within certain, borders, and the Trumpies will still like him and justify it in any way. I think it's similar now with Marjorie Greene. That's how beloved she is in this radical right-wing MAGA group, where she could kind of tell whatever story she wants and they'll go, oh no, she's playing Kevin McCarthy, she's a genius. I think that would be most of their reactions, but it's funny to see somewhat of a voice on the right, Laura Loomer. I don't know how much she is beloved herself within the broader MAGA movement, calling Marjorie Greene out pretty aggressively and obsessively, and hopefully it does continue to stoke division among the MAGA crew. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.